I think Rise of Skywalker was officially the moment for me in the Disney trilogy where I'm not going to say that I full on lost interest, but any measure of excitement that I had for the future of Star Wars has been substantially dampened by it. And like that is a weirdly harsh place to start, but it is just a fact. It's how I feel. The movie was profoundly disappointing. um,
I actually coming into this one, the first time I saw it years ago when it was in the theater, I had a sense of like, what was the last one of the prequels?
the Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, it was like Revenge of the Sith, where I was already kind of checked out, but like you might as well just get this over with. Uh, I mean, this it didn't destroy my love of the Disney Star Wars by any measure. It was just like, oh God, okay, let's just do this.
Well, and I wanted to talk to you about this because you, like me, have been a lifelong Star Wars fan. Like, one of your great traumatic moments in childhood is losing a Star Wars action figure on a bus, right? And, like, we didn't like Star Wars. We loved Star Wars. We lived Star Wars. And under
Yeah,
that.
we experienced like those 3 interminable years of Han being sold to that bounty hunter and really not knowing what was gonna happen. Would we ever get closure?
We may never. We may never. We didn't know. And when you're a kid, 3 years might as well be 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was curious, generally, before we sharpen our knives for Rise of Skywalker, generally, how do you feel about the Disney era of Star Wars? I've been of the opinion that the original trig is A, the prequels is F, and so far for me, Disney's been a hard C.
Yeah, I would put it around the C era. Like when the first of them came out, I was pretty sure that they'd play it super safe to apologize for the prequels, which is exactly what happened. It was the same plot as the first Star Wars. I liked I liked that they were going back to practical effects and some of the same lenses they used in the 70s. Um, I've had the somewhat controversial opinion that the second in this trilogy is maybe the best because at least it was trying something new. And I'm not going to defend like it was a bad movie, but at least it wasn't about the same fucking shit
It was a big
recycled.
swing.
Yeah, it was a big swing and a big miss. There were things about the second one that I liked, and then this one. Um, my analogy for watching this Disney trilogy is like between Ryan Johnson and J.J. Abrams. It's like watching improv comedians who just passive aggressively hate each other,
They're
and like
blocking each
every
other.
decision is sorry, not even a no, but it was just a no.
Yeah,
Like
hard no every
there's
time.
as I sometimes say, it was like watching it was like being on a road trip with my parents. It's like this palpable tension.
Well, I want to say a few good things about Rise of Skywalker, okay? Here's what I like about, and generally this has been true about the Disney movies. The world feels more real to me than it did in anything that happened in the prequels. There was something so artificial and plastic about everything, and CGI, like obviously CGI of the prequel series, that I really appreciate the tactile reality that I'm presented with. Like the TIE fighters and the space fights feel more real than they have to me in a long time. And the
Yeah,
creatures feel more real to me than I have in a long time. And I've said in the past that this movie, especially in the first act, seems like it's all over the place and in a terrible rush. But I like the energy that they're trying to put into the movie. Like, it feels like it's a climactic third act, even though nothing that exciting ends up happening as far as I'm concerned. You can see that they're trying to imbue this sort of flat script with more energy than it kind of deserves. And I see the effort being made there. Like, it's not a catastrophe, and I think it's really easy for us Star Wars fans to fall into the vitriol. So,
yeah. I mean, I think the problem that they made was having this big monumental revive of Star Wars trilogy that wasn't the least bit plotted out. Like, not even okay, Ryan Johnson, you have to start here and end here, and then the third one will start here and end here, and do all sorts of crazy stuff along the way. But this is our trajectory. But basically, you've but also it has to introduce every single plot element. So, on your review for the prequels way back when, you were talking about how you think the Phantom Menace didn't even have to be in that trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, kind of started with Attack of the Clones. This one, it was like the entire trilogy was in this last movie, and everything that came before was like, I don't know, they basically all of it could have been accomplished in 10 minutes when they introduced the characters.
It was just we had the character set up, but everything happened here. And it's just the sin of not having a master plan. If you want to make a bunch of Star Wars movies, good, make a bunch of Star Wars trilogies. If you announce that you're doing a new trilogy, do a trilogy. I was talking to Lee Beckman about how there's crazy parallels between the trilogy of this Disney Star Wars and the new Halloween trilogy, in which the first one was just completely fan service. The second one was flawed, but we gave it a pass because it's the middle chapter and by its very design has no beginning or ending, right? And the third one all of a sudden introduces a bunch of new shit that had nothing to do with the previous two movies. And we're like, there was no master plan here. We feel kind of lied to.
Yeah, and you're supposed to have an emotional reaction to it. Like, oh, geez, Zori Bliss came to save the day. That sure is a character that I've been invested in her relationship with Poe. Like, yeah. It's just like all this shit out of nowhere.
And it is written like someone who was raised on video games. It's all goal-oriented stuff. They need to find the Sith compass. And then they need to keep the Sith Knight. And then they have to find the planet. But, like, there's all these levels. They're not acts. They're not chapters. They're levels.
Yeah, so I was thinking two things about it. One is ungenerous and one is generous. And the generous one is perhaps overly generous, but whatever. The ungenerous one is this feels like 150 TikTok videos just stitched together. So it was actually quite easy for me to watch the second time. The first time I watched it in the theater, and it was just torture to sit through the whole thing. But this one, you know, I was like cooking or washing dishes or whatever. I was drifting in and out, and it really didn't matter because the last thing that you needed to ever know was introduced 30 seconds earlier. So it's just like, just watch these TikToks. It's just this mess. More generously, though, in some ways I think it's come full circle from what George Lucas wanted the Star Wars world to be, which was an homage to those Saturday afternoon serials, which are just these staccato images. They're kind of sloppily stitched together. What's going to happen? It just plays out. You know, Chewie's been kidnapped. Chewie's alive. We don't have ships. The ships are here. And you know, how are we going to get aboard the Star Destroyer? Here's this magic key code. And it really does. It has this feeling of reading like newspaper cartoons or something like that.
Yeah. I also do think you can overplay your hand in fan service. Like, yeah, there's the holographic chess game that we keep seeing over and over again. And yeah, this time, this guy's going to get not just force choked, but he's going to get force choked and thrown up into the room. And let's do everything that they've seen before, but just a little bit bigger, right?
Yeah, every Star Destroyer has a Death Star laser.
Yeah. And really, as much as I was happy to see Lando Calrissian, if you're going to do that little with him, what is he doing in the movie?
Well, what are those other, like, rebel stormtroopers doing in the movie? The ones that rode those horses that have the tusk? Like, I don't know, they just showed up. They didn't even need them. Like, literally nothing would have changed if they didn't show up.
All I liked about that was to know that there were, in fact, other people who decided, you know what, being a stormtrooper sucks, and they left. The movie seems to have presented like this character that we were introduced to was the first guy who ever thought of doing that.
Although I will say, as far as negative things go, I have always been, since I watched the second one in the theater, really strongly Team Rose. Like, she was the first character in the Disney trilogy that I thought was, like, kind of charismatic. Because everybody else is like, either stoic and boring, or just so quippy. You know, like, Finn and Poe are going to get executed, and they're quipping with each other. Like,
yeah.
Oh, thanks for sucking all of the tension out of this. I thought Rose was a really great character, and then the way, like, she's like, oh, this one, I'll go along with you guys. No, you gotta stay home and study Star Destroyer schematics. It was like such a fuck you to to Ryan Johnson and her character.
Yeah, completely humiliatingly benched that character. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was really debating about her decision at the end of the Last Jedi. Like, I really do think that was a bad decision that Rose made, but I didn't hate her character. But yeah, this just seemed, in a weird way, to be like fan service for the haters. There was a lot of
Yeah.
haters for Rose, so let's let the haters have their say in this movie. I'm starting to be of the opinion that, like, hardcore Star Wars fans, especially trolls on the internet, they're just not going to be happy. So stop trying to make them happy and make a new Star Wars movie.
Well, honestly, I mean there are some problems with some of the Disney Plus stuff, but The Mandalorian is much better than this.
Oh yeah,
Maybe the Book of Boba Fett. I was kind of lukewarm on that one, but whatever. Like, you can strike a better balance, and if you've got a creative behind it with some vision, and just don't read the tweets. Just like make the trilogy that you want to make. Like, there's something very pick me about these Star Wars trilogy, just sort of desperately trying to make everybody happy that they're making nobody happy. Like, just say fuck it, we're keeping Rose in. She's a character now. Either deal with it or don't.
yeah. And again, the redemption arc that they're going for here with the Adam Driver character. As a fan of Star Wars, in the first movie, when Han Solo took the Obi-Wan role and died at the end of the movie, as a Star Wars fan, that made this dude like the ultimate Star Wars villain. You killed Han fucking Solo. So I wasn't particularly invested in a redemption arc in this character. In fact, I don't really think that Darth Vader's redemption arc is all that great, considering he did everything awful until the last possible second to stop the death of his only son. What a great guy.
I actually, among the positive things, because I've got a lot of daggers that I can stick into this movie.
Oh, yes.
Among the positive things is I actually did like Adam Driver. I liked his chemistry with Daisy Ridley. Even though Daisy Ridley seemed a bit checked out, probably from 6 years of vitriolic Twitter hate. She just wanted to be out of this. When those two were on screen together, I liked it, and I kind of bought that they had formed a bond. Like, I kind of felt something from their bond, and so I could sort of see him, when he is going to that weird planet and fighting those guys that just showed up all of a sudden that were like level bosses, but we didn't know who they were, and then she used the Force to hand him her lightsaber. Like, kind of all of that stuff I liked, and that was much better for me than those billions of ships showing up.
The space fight was actually kind of boring, and like, that stings.
Yeah.
That stings. And look, all of a sudden the Emperor's still alive, and he has the biggest fleet of ships that ever existed. That is terrible writing. That is just obviously terrible writing. Like,
Also, the obvious question of who's aboard them, because he's using the Force to make them appear. Like, he could have just gone Lord of the Rings and said, I don't know, there's ghost pilots aboard, whatever.
robots.
They just don't even do that.
What happened to the droid armies? We've seen those before. I don't. It like that whole wing of the story doesn't work for me. I think Adam Driver's a really good actor, and I think he sells some scenes that I think a lesser actor, sorry Mark Hamill, would maybe not have been able to pull off. But I give all the credit to the performances and none to the script. And again, just as a Star Wars fan, I wanted to see him defeated, not redeemed, honestly. It's just how I felt.
Yeah, so I didn't mind seeing him redeemed. The problem was there was no real villain, but again, I'm kind of split here, because another one of the few things I liked was the horror movie Palpatine. I thought he had a presence on the screen, particularly when I saw it in the theater. But also, he was a lame villain because he's just like whack-a-mole Palpatines. Like, who gives a fuck? And all of a sudden, I am all of the Sith. I'm like, you're not. Like, that's not what the franchise has been establishing. So it would have been nice to have one final enemy that gets defeated, and there's this sense of, like, I don't know, closure. It could have been, honestly, it should have been, was that guy's name Snopes?
Yeah, Snoke.
Yeah, it probably should have been Snoke.
Yeah. But with the Emperor, at least they were consistent with his character in that he was always overplaying his hand. Good, good.
Yeah.
You will do as I say, and you will rule the world, and there will be no last-second catch.
You're my plan, Daisy Ridley, is for you to strike me down. Like, yeah, I wonder how this is going to turn out.
And I mean, Snoke was just the Emperor too, but at least you had the chance to take it in a different direction with that guy, and a chance of.
Yeah.
Look, the Carrie Fisher stuff was not their fault. They didn't plan on Carrie Fisher dying. It was very rude of her to do that. But again, I can see just as like spitballing ideas in my head, ways that it could have been handled in a more graceful manner. They used footage from her that went unused from the first movie and some CGI alterations to kind of like plug her into the movie. If you're going to start this movie with this huge sudden retrofit, the Emperor is here, like maybe the Emperor announces his presence by killing Princess Leia, like...
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it just, there was... Again, they did the best that they could, and I think they wanted to honor Carrie Fisher, and it's hard to slap their hand for that, but I don't know. It was taking me out of it because, we know that that's not Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, particularly the CGI flashback between her and CGI Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And back to what you said about this feeling like a video game, that was a total cutscene.
Exactly. Yeah, and... I've been seeing that more and more. A lot of people were comparing the last Jurassic World movie with this one, and I think it's got because of that similar vibe. There's no real through-line plot. There's just a series of events or levels that happened, goals that need to be met, and boxes that need to be ticked off, and plot points. And, like, it doesn't feel like a movie anymore. It feels like 2.5 hours of middle.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, which is why... it was easier to watch when it was just on in the background and I could drift in and out because, it's like watching your friend play video games and you like get a beer or make popcorn or something, and it's pretty easy to resituate yourself. And also the movie itself, like there's no Chekhov's gun or anything like that. The movie will 100% forgive you for popping in at any place.
Yeah. And Rey has suddenly the new force powers to heal things. And that's new, but that's going to come in handy in the climax of the movie. I did actually like some of the interactions that were happening on the Imperial ship with the spy and everything like this. When the general figured out who the spy was and immediately executed him, it made me laugh out loud. I don't know.
Okay, so that's like the executing of, what was his name? Domhnall Gleeson's character, I can't remember. That quick execution was the only thing about that subplot. Everything about that I fucking hated, right down to him saying, "I'm the spy." I was like, this is not how you were written. Watch the first two movies. He was never the spy.
No, he was a completely over the top vitriolic like believer. But I did like the line. I don't care if you win. I just need Kylo Ren to lose. And I just liked how directly he was dealt with. It was immediate, like done.
Even if you're gonna do that, don't have the line, "I'm the spy."
Yeah, that was the fact that you just killed their executioners kind of spilled those beans for you.
Yeah. That was one of the worst scenes of the movie when they were like knelt down, gonna get laser blasts in the back of the head, and they're still fucking quipping like this is a sitcom or something.
Yeah.
It was so just like we need a mood. We need to establish a mood. This movie opened up like a horror movie, and then it's like just like there's no emotional through line whatsoever.
This is very, as far as you know, the last few seconds of your life, and if you want us to believe that you're in danger, you have to believe you're in danger. And the movie fails at shit like this all the time. Like, no Star Wars fan in the world believed that Chewie was killed in that explosion, right? Like, first of all, they're not going to kill Chewbacca. And secondly, even if they were going to kill Chewbacca, it wasn't going to be an off-screen explosion sort of death. Like, it just... It was
Chewbacca
so
was,
obvious. I don't know why they tried to even make it a thing. Like,
yeah, and also Chewbacca was alive in the trailer in the Millennium Falcon with Lando, so they already said that Chewbacca's living.
it's a bit of a
But
tell.
but like at least like have the actors feel the emotion. Like we could all know Chewbacca is alive, and if Daisy Ridley thinks that she killed him, then this can be part of her arc. It's that much more tragic if she turns to the dark side on the mistaken belief that she'd killed Chewie. That's fine. It's like keep the mood for more than a few seconds.
I think it might be why these TV versions of Star Wars are working in a weird way better for them, because at 25 minutes at a time, they can just do whatever little blub of story they need to cover for that 25 minutes, and then it's the next episode. But if you just string 5 episodes together with no credit sequences, it's not a movie. I don't know what it is, but it's not a movie.
So I would say, like, Mandalorian works really well for me because I think all of the episodes were storyboarded. So every episode needed to end somewhere, needed to introduce something to get the next ones going. Kenobi, as far as I understand, was meant to be a movie, and it actually felt like a TV show with a lot of filler. And so I actually liked the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, although it had some real problems. But at least, again, it had a direction. I think that's the real issue. It's like having a direction.
Yeah. But generally speaking, I mean, I think Disney spent $4 billion on Star Wars, so they're going to make their money back. And, like, love it or hate it, this is the Star Wars we're getting. And as far as this revisionist history, people who are saying that, give it back to George Lucas, I really don't think you were paying attention. I really, really don't think you're paying attention. But I have to say, for a climactic third chapter in this epic new Star Wars trilogy, this is a limp noodle of a movie. And how limp? Like the first time I saw it, when Adam Driver was having the conversation with Han Solo, I'm somehow, as a huge Star Wars fan, didn't clock the "I know" answer as being an echo back to Empire Strikes Back. I was so checked out that what I thought when Han said "I know," he was just literally dismissing it as "I know."
Well, so I think there may be some the kind of credence where it's not super upfront, but you can just tell, the level of checked out Harrison Ford was when he died. He was clean shaven and his hair was relatively short. This one, he looked like Harrison Ford on a bender. He's got like 7 days growth. His hair's all undone, and like they obviously have hairdressers on the set, but he's like, I'm not gonna get my hair done. Like he seemed. There was a lot about this movie that had a strong "fuck you" vibe, right? Like a lot of the "fuck you" vibe to Rian Johnson, but it seemed like Harrison Ford had a "fuck you" vibe to just being in this thing. Like, yeah, okay, I'll get whatever $10 million to be in this one scene, but I'm not gonna treat it as though I'm a professional actor.
Harrison Ford is sort of, I think, completely checked out of, like, acting in general, to be honest. I think his sort of peak heyday passed, and in order to stay relevant, he just started mining his old popular titles. Let's do another Blade Runner. Let's do another Indiana Jones. Fuck it. Let's do some more Star Wars. And
man, that's gonna be so bad. The next Indiana Jones movie.
He's 78 years old. Like, it's...
He wears it like he's older than that.
And it's sort of like the Scorsese movie Irishman. Like, you can try and digitally re-age their faces, but they still move and talk like old people. And I just picture, like... I picture, like, mid-afternoon each day on set, they stop so everyone can have a fucking nap. Like...
Which, no hate, I like to have naps in the afternoon, but I'm also not an action movie star.
That's right. Anyway.
I think Harrison Ford in the mid-2000s tried to make a comeback because he was in Ender's Game, and
Yeah.
I think he was hoping that would be a franchise. I think that was the last movie that he tried.
He invested himself in, yeah. I mean, he's been doing it since the 70s, but part of me says if you're that checked out, just retire and give someone else a turn.
Yeah, why not? I mean, he's certainly not
No, no. And that's sort of what Poe was representing, that vibe of character. But Poe is again completely at sea in this movie. What does he? What is his arc? What does he do? He's present.
Well, they retroactively made him a smuggler and a scoundrel. Like all of that was in this one with
Yeah.
Zori Bliss, who's just everything about that character I hate. Down to the fact that she looks like a Flash Gordon character instead of a Star Wars character. She's got a stupid name.
Take the
She
helmet off.
represents just the worst of Disney cynicism. But she's talking about him. I don't know what. Like it's just like shit that should have been backstory from 1977. Jabba saying you dumped cargo or whatever, and we're like, oh, this person's got an interesting backstory. Like we've known Poe. He's a soldier. He's a fighter pilot. He's not a smuggler. It's too late to make him Han Solo.
And like Boyega, our de facto stormtrooper, who we started this whole story with, and who's like, what was his arc? What was his like? What did he do?
His entire arc was in the first movie.
Yeah. They had no idea what to do with him. I mean, if it's hard to get like the dream role and free ticket into Hollywood and feel shortchanged, but I kind of feel like he got done dirty by this series.
100%. And I mean, it's weird because like Oscar Isaac and John Boyega, they're professionals. Like
Oh, yeah.
they were delivering their lines like they meant it. Like they were disappearing into their roles, but it was just shit. Like what they had to work with is garbage.
And like, I haven't been attacking the performances, and I won't. Like, and I have been attacking the special effects or like the look of the film because I don't. But the script is terrible, and it's obviously terrible. Like, wow.
And this has to fall at the feet of Kathleen Kennedy, because ultimately the problem is it wasn't a trilogy,
No.
right? It's like